a very great woman, which I know her from our last decade. She is the CEO of Berkeley Middle East Holding, and she is a qualified management accountant and certified Chartered Institute of Management Accountant. She is the member, and she's a co-chair of Berkeley Investor Club. She is advising on different matters to the different high network individuals. She is a businesswoman in true spirit. She brought a lot of money to the Berkeley Middle East Holding in last tenure, and I'm such a honored to work in her team. She's always a great inspiration for me, and in a way that whenever I stuck, because I feel I'm sometime as a man, I'm a bit aggressive and very straight in my thought. So there I go to her and I ask that how to handle this scenario. And most of the time she's my shield and my protection because she covers me in a lot of ways. So Khulood Muhammad Rafiq Shaban is in front of you. Khulood, we thank you very much for giving a time, and it's a panel discussion. So I will re-invite my prestigious guest, Sana. Sana, can you join us again for this panel?
Sure, I'm here.
Oh, that's good. Sorry for kept you on hold.
That's okay.
I know that you are really busy, and it's a great morning for you. And but we really want to get a value out of your experience and your life histories and successes. And I would like to invite my last participant, Asma Jan Muhammad. She is also going to share some very interesting thoughts with us. So we are four people. If you see, we have someone from Africa. So Samantha is covering the perspective from an African woman. So you're talking about 1 billion people. Asma is going to represent Pakistan, which is 220 million women, and which need a really serious focus. I will tell you, so we are 8 brother and sisters, like we are 5 brothers and 3 sisters. And I am the youngest. But because apparently I'm tall, so what I used to have, I'm sitting inside my home. I'm telling you this story every day. My mother will keep running to me. She will say, "Your sister was coming. Some boy is harassing her." 3 sisters, now. One is coming, and it's a very small journey from a bus stop to the home. Three, 4 boys are escorting her every day and teasing her, talking to her, try to talk, give her the phone. So every day I have to go outside. So I am sick of this man's mentality, which even my own sisters were facing. And I was telling the boys, why you are so frustrated? What's the issue? These are gentle women. They are wearing a full coverage. They are Muslim women, and they don't want any boyfriend or any on the street. And whenever they go in a taxi drivers start nonsense talks. Then again, I receive a call that this taxi driver is a problem. So I have to take my own car and I have to go and chase the taxi in schools, in colleges, at every step. Honestly, this is I see from my own eyes, and that's why I'm really personally appreciate a woman as from Pakistan that because I know that they have faced such things. And the only problem with I feel the Pakistani women, like my sister, I can say, not all the women, they don't want to take it aggressively. Like they adapt a mechanism of patience. Like when I tell them, why don't you, if he's talking badly to you, why don't you snub them on their faces? So they will say, no, we cannot. We don't want fight. We don't this. And they are suppressed as of today. They are suppressed. this is really a very big challenge. So, coming back to my main topic is woman life in business. Of course, from home to the office, there is a travel that you do, and why I love UAE itself, because in UAE no one can dare to think to do this thing which I faced in Pakistan with my sisters, so this is a great place, and you guys are a part of it. So my first question to the panel is, how do you balance work and life responsibility? This question I raised before. So, I mean, according to your experiences, of course, you have different experiences, different ages, so you may have different perspective. But base of these questions are, we have a lot of case study which has been conveyed to us. There are a lot of questions that women is struggling with balancing raising their kids, giving them education, and handling their husbands because they are not cooperative, and their in-laws, family pressures, and other issues, which is the same question I asked from Asma before. So I would like all of you to give insight about these questions. You can choose who will speak first, and then you can raise a discussion between.
I think Khulood should go first.
Yeah, okay, sure. So, yeah, in fact, this is the everlasting challenge for a woman. I can say it was one of my top challenges. So I had to really stop and pick up multiple times throughout my career in order to be able to manage. So, and in this, I would like to share a bit of fun experiment that I have done with my husband. My husband is actually a supportive man, but still men know what they know. They don't know what they never stepped in. So actually, I wanted him to understand more about this challenge. And what we did is that we allocated only one chore for him out of the chores for 1 week, which is cooking. And I even was supportive in this with him, like I was cutting the stuff. So he was so enthusiastic that he will win this challenge. And he started on a schedule and on punctual time. And the first 3 days went great and impressive. And the fourth day, we started having our lunch at dinner time. And things went out of control with him. So this is doing both his work and his only one chore out of the dozens of chores that a woman really do every day. So so then I saw that he understood more about this challenge. And once a man understands more, and even maybe he will become more supportive. So I would say there are two parts of this. There is an emotional part, and there is the technical part that a woman can do to balance. Emotionally, she should really be consistent and patient, and she should be persistent, to be honest, because as Asma said before, that a lot of women just lose hope and they just drop in the middle of the road and they don't continue, because it is a massive challenge, this balance. But if you are really focused on your goals and targets, and you are not ready to give up on your ambitions, then you're allowed to have weak moments, you are allowed to stop, rest, but you're not allowed to really stop your way. You have to continue. So I would give some maybe technical tips which I believe they can help in some situations, which is sometimes first sorting out your priorities, both personal and professional. You should sort it in a daily routine that to-do list. Focus on one task at a time. Start with the most important task. You should eliminate time wasters. Some time wasters, you might think that it's not a time waster, like, for instance, picking what you want to cook for today, or what you want to wear, or how your schedule should start from daily morning routine, night routine. So this all, you should set it in a to-do list, and this will actually help you do most of what you have planned. And secondly, I would say you should really learn the art of delegation. You should acknowledge that you cannot do it all by yourself. You should delegate in work, you should delegate in home. For your kids, for your husband, you should delegate work. This will really remove a lot of workload from you. So, and I would say also you should avoid perfection, because perfection, I am myself is a perfectionist, and I struggled in this point a lot. Perfection can drag you down if you really spend more time on a task. So it's not that you become careless, but you should really avoid top perfection for each task. And this will also save you some time to spend with your family, because it's a quality time which you should spend with your family rather than quantity. I believe that. So you should have this time for your family. And last, I would say that also you should have, which is actually a very important point, you should have a me time. This me time is majorly important for you to charge yourself back. You should have a time that you meditate, exercise, spend time with friends, watch a movie, whatever you really like to do, because this is the way you feel that you are also focusing on yourself in the process. And eventually this is a constant adjustment process. You will continuously adjust, and you should work on sacrifices. You should sacrifice sometimes. You have to learn how to sacrifice. So this is what I think a way to help a woman juggle between work and life.
That's great. So, Sana, what are your views about it?
I think in the UAE we are uniquely privileged, because many of us have housekeepers. And I always talk about that, you know. I'm in the US now, we don't have a housekeeper, and I realize just what an amazing life we lived there. You know, we had a support system. Our house help helped to take care of a huge burden, so that women are empowered to go out and do what they need to. So I think it's also a cultural element.
That's true. Like UAE provide a better option for a woman to live in, which is not available anywhere in the world. That's why I suggest whenever I see a woman like struggling, I tell them come to Dubai and Abu Dhabi. This is the only option that you have.
But I think Musa, it's also there in many of our countries in the subcontinent. More privileged families in the subcontinent, they have house help. In Africa, I know a lot of more middle and upper income families also have house help. So I think those of us who have had that kind of life, we have to be grateful for it. We have to be very grateful and realize that it's not available to all women.
I'm not sure about other countries, but in Pakistan, if you have if you depend your life on maids, so they are not as good as like in UAE. The reason is that, for example, like my homemates are from Philippines. So I saw them, they are on my residency and they live inside my home. Once in a year, they go back to their own countries. So when you have in Pakistan, for example, like we do have the same liberties, but whenever I talk to my mom, she's always struggling with because if you do a research, 80% theft in the home is through either a driver or either from a maid. You know, in Pakistan, I'm telling you, I can't comment on other countries, but personally, from my home, we have the gold was stolen. Right, two times our gold was stolen. Two times my our cars were being stolen from our home, and there is a back end. We have a laundry where we have washing and the dryer. So I think two times also it is stolen. In spite we have a very affordable family and full of all these things. So, but because these maids are not trained, there is no regulator. There is a system which forces any employee not to help in the stealers and all that. But in UAE, you will be surprised that the last couple of years, I didn't lock my door. You know, my door is open. Anyone can come and do whatever they want. I'm telling them openly. You know, and secondly, the maids they are self-disciplined. They know that UAE is a lawful country, and if they will try to play around with anything, they can be went to jail, right? So these things I feel is a part of UAE as a governance system, which is unfortunately not available at all in, I mean, in Pakistan. For it's a far remote possibility. So going back to Dr. Najat, what is your view about the same question? How you balance your life? Do you have maids around you? Are they helping you, or you are managing yourself?
Yeah, I mean, this question I will answer because it's asked of men as well. And in the UAE, of course, we had home help. In Singapore, we had home help. In the UK, not so much. In Morocco, we have home help. And the various countries I've lived in, we've had home help. However, when it comes to work-life balance, as Khulood said earlier, it's a very valid point. The point of balance is about having time for yourself. The burden of home life always most often falls on the women, which is unfortunate, and this has been exacerbated by the current pandemic. I would predict that 98% of women did the homeschooling of children during the pandemic, as well as juggling their careers through online media where possible. And the onus falls largely on the working woman. And we need to challenge this. We need to lobby local governments to help with support, to put in place policy change, and to help with equal pay. Women can possibly pay for childcare. They can try to find a support network if they are bereft of it. Many women now are traveling around the world, living in different parts of the world where they have no family help, they have no friend network, they have no support network. So if they were given equal pay, they could possibly afford to pay a support network. It's very, very important to understand that. And also, not to remember that the home help we have, these are also women working in our homes who also deserve equal rights and pay, and to make sure they have the regular health checks, to make sure they're not being conned out of the percentage of remittances for the salaries they send home. Many women just go to high streets, finance places to send money home, and they are being ripped off in terms of how much money is taken from them in the foreign exchange. So they need support. Women in our homes need support, not only for ourselves, but also for the people that we have to support us. But I also go back to the lobbying for policy change to help address this serious matter.
That's great. So I will request Asma to comment on this, how she balances her life and responsibilities.
Well, in our situation, it seems slightly different because we have the extended family system where you have other relatives who come to live with you. And as I mentioned earlier, we also have polygamous families, maybe 4, 3, 2 women under one roof. So and then our aged, our old people live with us. So sometimes it's very helpful because when you have to go to work, you only need to prepare whatever you have for your baby and leave it with the old lady in the house. By then, you may have to ask permission and come back, particularly if he's still breastfeeding. Luckily, too, we have 3 months of maternity leave with full pay, that's salary. After the 3 months, you can take another year or 6 months without pay. And that is in our labor laws, and it is agreed. And also, we have crèches. We have crèches and, nurseries that take from 6 months to, and above. They take care of the baby, and after close of work, you pass to pick it. But in my situation, practically, I didn't suffer that much because both my mother and my aunties were all living, and I was under a polygamous family. So at any time, there's somebody in the house whom you can leave your child to. And even it is allowed for a teacher, as I was a teacher, for somebody to carry the baby to the school for you to breastfeed the person during break time. They don't fight that. It's allowed because they know that the baby needs care at that tender age, and that one is allowed. But the polygamous and the extended family system helps a lot. But here again, I want to caution because sometimes people foster their children to you as an elite. And then instead of you planning your time such that you will be able to give the house help also education, because they are usually between the ages of 10 to 14 years, not adults. Then you try to just concentrate on them taking care of your children to the stage that the children will go to school and you will still keep them at home and not teach them any life functional skills. So at the end, when they grow up into adulthood, it becomes an issue because they have nothing to do. And then their marital homes become problematic because they can't afford anything. They are always waiting for the men to provide for everything. But also in the elite, we have the elite class, middle level class, and the very elite class who live in supposedly villas, bungalows, we call them in Ghana, or low-cost homes. They are alone. It's a nuclear family, like wife, husband, and maybe a kid or 2 children and above. So they take up to house helps. Some of them hire house helps. And so it's helpful, but there are a lot of challenges in this house help situation.
So you mean to say that there is a joint family system where there are grandfathers, grandmothers, then there are brothers, sisters, and they are living happily together.
Majority of Ghanaian homes, we live.
So how about because this is what I saw myself, in Pakistan. We do have the same culture, grandfather, father, and joint family systems. But when a young girl is coming, like maybe 20, 22 years, she is not at all liking to live in a joint family structure, and she want to live her alone and want to bring her own life in the world.
No. So, we don't allow that in
Ghana. So you don't face any problem with the youth? Like youth is not struggling, or they don't say they are aligned?
What happens is that as a young girl, until
don't tell me I'm going to shift in Ghana,
As a young girl, until you marry out, you cannot even go and stay on your own. Because then they will tag you with several names. For example, if I have my last born who lives with me here, She's 27 now, but she's still living under my roof. Oh, we are about to. Yes, she's going to live under my roof until she marries out. Wow, if she marries out, or until she gets a job and she's posted out of where I live.
That's great.
So then she can go and hire her own place. Even that, you have to put her under the care of some relatives or some friends once she's not married.
That seems like a very strong culture. So yes, let me take the thoughts of Asma on this point, that how she is going to balance the work and responsibilities.
Look, I have the privilege of having a family raised in UAE only. So the next day of my marriage, I was here, and
you are the lucky girl, I can say that.
Yes, yes, you can say that was one of the main factors that I managed to survive. So UAE actually creates an enabling environment in terms of discipline, law and order, safety, health, education. So it's close to an ideal environment, and a lot of things we don't really see back in Pakistan. But there are some other factors as well which are missing here. For example, an extended family. Here we don't have extended families, but then we have a chance of getting a house help, and then manage the house help as we need and as and when we want. So I think it's kind of a, there are positives, there are negatives.
Trade-off, you can say trade-off, that there are good and bad stuff.
Yeah, it's a trade-off. It actually depends on individuals who are in that trade-off. So it depends on the house help, and it largely depends on us also, how we are trying to give and take. So I would say there are the two major points that Khulood mentioned was delegation and avoiding perfection. So I would say if we try to be human with each other, be it your partner, be it your house help, or be it anybody else, be it a child, if you try to be human, you keep away the perfections that you have, your assumptions in your mind, which is coming from your social conditioning, which is coming from your society, which is coming from your upbringing, and you start from a scratch and see what is doable and what will make life a mess. I think that choice will actually take you to a mix of solution which will be unique to you and which will actually give everybody a win-win situation. There is one more thing that I would like to add. See, if a man behaves in a certain way, I personally credit the woman who has brought him up. So this is one point that probably we, when we claim our rights, we miss on this point, that it is eventually us, females like us, who have actually passed on or transferred a certain set of mindset. For example, I will give you example from my house. If something falls down on the floor, I have two boys, and if somebody is responsible, I ask them to clean it up. My husband is not really very, encouraging of this idea. But then washing a dish or cleaning, why we are trying to stereotype it with women only? Women are not God-gifted cleaners. They also learn in this world. So we as the mothers, or we as women, we should need to bring a change by leading by example. Until we create an example, how on earth men are going to understand how it should be? So this is one important point which should be taken care when you're talking about work life. And I would not say balance, because there is nothing like a balance existing in this world. When we talk about ideals, we fall in a trap, and then we are missing, and we are expectations are bigger, and there is nothing achieved in this regard. It is all about integration. It is all about collaboration. It is all about accepting the other person as a human, and then also feeling that you yourself are a human. I have had a very hectic work and life schedule in the early part of my career when I started with my family. And over the years, I've realized that I was wrong. Perhaps I was taking too much of it. Perhaps I was coming forward to do everything, which was not doable. And then definitely there were mistakes, and definitely there were some imperfections which were there. It is all on us. It's all here. It's the biggest game is played in a 6-inch playground, and once you master that, definitely there is no end to the solutions in this world.
That's great. I think it's an amazing response from all the panelists. Now we will move to the next question.